Hello, in this video we're going to look at how we use scenes in the Raven live video switching software platform. So let's jump right in. As you can see, I have the Scenes tab in my Raven configuration pulled up, and I have a variety of scenes already defined, and we'll take a look at this first one here called Wide Shot Only. Now you can think of scenes as a way to group your various video input sources to display and capture a segment of your live event. So in a church service, for example, we usually have a time of singing and music and then a time of speaking or a sermon. And so at the very least, we probably want two different scenes in Raven, one for the music time and one for the speaking time, that do different things with our video input sources in order to create a high production value mixed output. So that's what scenes are for in Raven. There can be any number of scenes that you use in Raven. You can create them at will. And then when you drop inputs into a scene, you can drop them into one of 4 locations. And every scene must have a main video. So as you see here, I've picked this iPhone Sierra app video input source as my main feed. As well, the 3 other types are auxiliary inputs, presentation inputs, and overlay inputs. And an auxiliary input, you can think of that as like something for Raven to switch away to before it switches back to something that's considered main. The main input's probably going to be a camera that's looking at, whoever's speaking or singing on stage at any given time, probably. And then an auxiliary input, an example of that might be, just an audience shot, or a wide shot of the stage, or a shot of a drummer or an organist, or something else to kind of cut away to that Raven can go back and forth between staring at one person all the time and seeing more of what's going on stage. Presentation feed is used or utilized to capture video signal that is presented to an audience. So this would be typically something that's shown on a projector or a video wall of some sort, and it would usually come from a program like ProPresenter or Proclaim or PowerPoint even. But what a presentation feed in Raven is Raven is actually going to be kind of watching that feed to detect when there's a change or when there's motion. And when there's a change in that feed, then Raven will switch to that full screen automatically. Now this is really handy, for example, again, using the church scenario, if you're in a sermon and the pastor wants a slide displayed of a Bible verse or a picture or something like that. When that slide gets displayed, when that Bible verse gets displayed or that picture gets displayed, then Raven will detect that as motion, and then it will switch to that particular source to fill the output screen. And it'll stay on that for a period of time and then switch away. And you can define the minimum and maximum times in seconds that Raven will be on any given source. And of course, I can add more feeds here. I'm going to add the P200. I'll add an auxiliary feed of this tracking camera. And this is our presentation video feed. I'm going to have deep dive videos on the presentation video feed and the overlay video feed because those two need a little bit of time and attention for you to understand exactly how they work. But just briefly here, an overlay video feed is for sources that you want to key out. That is, remove part of the image and then display what's left on top of something else. That's what the overlay is. So we have the ability to alpha key or chroma key, and then after keying, then we can crop, scale, and then position the resultant keyed, cropped, and scaled content. So just to give you a highlight of what that actually looks like, we're going to switch over to our live feed, and boom, I've got an overlay feed at the bottom of the screen that's showing lyrics that have been projected onto what's called a confidence monitor or a stage monitor by a program like ProPresenter or Proclaim, something like that. And I've keyed out the black, and I've shrunk the image and scaled it down and put it to the bottom of the screen and overlaid it on top of other cameras. And you're looking at my little model train layout here. So this is just an example of how you would use scenes to group your input sources and do the things you want to do with them. And I'll jump back here. What's cool is that in Raven, there's a complete disconnect between inputs and how they are used in the scene. So one input could be a main video in one scene, it could be an auxiliary video in a different scene, it could be a presentation video in 7 other scenes, it could be an overlay video in 15 other scenes. It doesn't matter. The input only needs to be defined once, then how you use it in a scene is completely flexible after that. So that's what scenes are for, and again, we're going to do some deep dive videos on presentation feeds and overlay feeds to help you understand how to better utilize them. Hope you learned a little bit about Raven and how it operates in this video. Thanks for watching.